The Philip Goldson Highway near Buena Vista Village was blocked for several hours this afternoon following protest action by the farmers from the Belize Cane Farmer Association. The action to block the highway came as members of the Bscfa met in an emergency general meeting to update their membership on the ongoing negotiations with BSI-ASR. In an impromptu move by some members of the association, the road was blocked as Minister of Agriculture Honorable Mai engaged in dialogue with Prime Minister John Bscfa, who is currently out of the country. The association presented two options to the government which they believe would help allay the standoff between the association and the millers. Late this evening, Minister Mai gave an update on discussion between government and BSI-ASR.
They passed two resolutions on the floor, I think. One was that the government plays a role to convince ASR, BSI to close the gates of the mill so that until this problem is resolved. And the second option was to ask BSI to roll over the expired contract for one more year, since ASR, BSI has offered Bscfa farmers to deliver cane under the same condition as last year, but to do so individually. So they said, since BSI has made that offer to Bscfa farmers, why not just formalize it and do it Bscfa, right? The farmers contend that it is clearly an attempt to try to weaken the association, disintegrate, and the association probably break up. So they are saying, since they have offered that to the cane farmers, our cane farmers, then just ask them to roll over the exact contract as last year. So I wrote to the Prime Minister and wrote to Acting Prime Minister Corel Hyde, and I said these are the two resolutions, and if we could ask BSI to accept them. To me, I think the lowest hanging fruit is the second option, right? So I told the Prime Minister, this is what I believe.
The parties met last week in marathon meetings for several days. How realistic is it to expect that something will give no after all of that failed?
There's a report that's been circulated by my ministry explains where we were and where we ended the negotiations, right? Essentially, we were stuck with two additional costs that BSI wants to put on the new agreement. The farmer said, listen, if you remove that, then we can roll it. BSI wanted 4 years. The farmer said, okay, we'll satisfy with 2 and one roll over 1 year. The farmer removed it and from the agreement because BSI said, no, that cannot be there. They removed it. So I think the farmers have conceded a lot. And all they were asking now is, okay, if you extend the fair trade term to 2 years, we can remove the cost, right? BSI said, no, we will not give you 2 years, and it will not remove the two additional costs, the throughput costs and the terminal fees. Farmers are saying, well, we have given enough. We expected BSI to commit to something that has not been done. And so we are here where we are.
While the move to block the highway was not planned, Chairman of Bscfa Orange Walk Branch, Fred Ortega, says it was as a result of frustration from the farmers who simply want to deliver their cane.
The farmers are really fed up of the situation that only days pass, days comes, days pass, days comes, and there is no result on our move. We, the Bscfa, have been pushed to make certain changes on our agreement with BSI, and at the end of the day, they always reject what we bring in table. So this has brought us to this situation now, and this is where we are now, awaiting for a response.
Are the members and the leadership of the BScfa torn in this situation? Because I've heard some of the leaders calling on the members to, free up the highway to move the blockade.
Well, the issue is that some of the leaders were caught up, as myself, behind the scene, that we didn't knew that this movement would happen so fast. So at the same time, we understand the situation with the farmers, and that's why we have been calling the attention, because as you know, we have ministers here and we have the police around, and well, we have to be very, very respectful to what we are doing, but nevertheless, we understand the cry of the farmers, and we are there to support, because at the end of the day, they are our leaders, they are our bosses, and we have to work within what they bring to us, so that we have to respond on their behalf.
How realistic is it to, ask for a resolution today, to have that the government, intervene in terms of reaching an agreement when it hasn't been reached as yet, like you mentioned?
Well, I think a positive response from the minister. The minister of agriculture is here, and he is seeing what is going on. He listened to the cries of the farmers this morning, so he is well aware on what the cry of the farmers is. So we know that maybe today there might not be a position to reach in something positive, but there can be a compromise that maybe as of tomorrow things can happen, because the farmers want to deliver their cane, but nevertheless we cannot do it in the fashion that BSI wants our farmers to deliver.
While the actions of the Bscfa may be deemed as inconvenience in the moment, its leadership maintained that the sacrifices of the Bscfa will result in benefit for the entire industry.
Yes, we have blocked the road, but it has been very peacefully. No one has been hurt, so we don't want anybody to come and hurt our farmers, because if that happens, then things will turn very nasty, and we don't want that to happen.
Though it is peaceful, sir. Commuters, yeah, commuters are inconvenienced, are stuck out here.
Well, like in anything, if you want to buy tortillas, you take the line. If you want to go to the bathroom, you take the line. If you want to go to the grocery shop and pay, you take the line. So they take the line. ESR has been taking advantage of our farmers, and we want the Belizean public, because there are many Belizeans that when I see in Facebook how they answer some of their questions in Facebook, throwing some nasty words to the cane farmers, really because they are very ignorant to what is going on with us farmers. So we want them to clearly understand that this is not something that we want to do because we want to be bad boys. We are doing this because this is our bread and butter. This is taking our family really to the desert, and we don't want that to happen. We live in Belize, we grow in Belize, and everybody say Belize is a paradise, but for us it hasn't been a paradise. We have been since before Christmas, we have been there spending our times not being with our families just for this industry to succeed, because as you have seen, there was many cry that sugar is needed, sugar is needed, sugar is needed. And that is why we are here, that we want our farmers to really benefit out of the sacrifices that they do to grow that cane, to take that cane to the mill, so that sugar can be available not only for us but also for the world.
Just before news time, a compromise was reached to unblock the highway after more than 3 hours to allow the free passage of traffic. Negotiations, we understand, continue at this time, and an update is expected sometime tomorrow morning. Today, as the membership of the Bscfa met at the 30 office, representatives of the PUP Northern Caucus made a united appearance to pledge their support to cane farmers. Their official stance came following a meeting this morning where an official resolution was passed to support the plight of the Bscfa. The resolution highlights 5 main points, including, first, its support for the expeditious appointment and activation of the Commission of Inquiry. 2, demands that BSI-ASR receives no further tax concessions and or exemptions and fuel subsidies from the government and people of Belize. 3. The Northern Caucus does not support the inclusion of 2 additional fees to the farmers and strongly denounces that BSI-ASR offers individual farmers a 1-year open contract agreement. And lastly, urges both parties to reach a mutually beneficial agreement as quickly as possible. Chairman-person of the PUP Northern Caucus, Thea Garcia Ramirez, expanded more on its decision.
Gives our support as a bloc, and we are 9 areas, 9 constituencies, so 4 from Corozal, 4 from Orange Walk, and Belize Rural South, and they have unanimously decided and voted in support of the association. So we're here to demonstrate that support with them, and to say that we are with them hasta el final. We're hoping for a quick resolution. And today, I think just now the Bscfa has asked that the current agreement, commercial agreement, continue until such time as the resolution actually happens, until the situation is resolved.